Hi, my name is Carly Shannon, and today I'll be telling you a little bit about myself. My mom and dad are both from Pennsylvania, and they grew up in households that were a little less fortunate than others at that time. They didn't have a lot of money, so my grandparents had to be very hands-on and make items for them such as clothes and blankets and even things out of wood like dressers. My parents met in Pennsylvania, and that is where they were married and where I was born. And then we moved to Virginia, and that is where I currently live. The object that I chose to talk about today is this blanket. My grandmother on my dad's side made it for me. She crocheted it, which is not something you see very often anymore. You see more knitting or other things. In this speech, I will be giving you the background of the object, why it's important to me, and why it's important to my family. So the background is, like I said, my grandmother on my dad's side crocheted it for me. And she gave it to me as a baby gift. And I'm very thankful my mother has held on to it for all these years, because now I can look at the blanket and remember my grandmother and just remember the significance of the blanket. So why it is important to me personally is because it was the first of many gifts that my grandmother blessed me with. She's a very giving person, and that is why the blanket is important to my family. It's not just a blanket, it's more than that. When we look at the blanket, we think about how much my grandmother has given to myself and the whole family and to the whole community over these years. She has a wonderful talent, and she gives that to other people who are less fortunate. And it's just very inspiring to our family. It's what we try to instill in our lives, our talent and our time. We try to give it to other people. Whenever we can lend a helping hand, we try to do that and not complain about it, because we were blessed with this for a reason, whatever our talent is, and we just like to give back to other people. And it's just a wonderful reminder of that. And my grandmother has made many other blankets like this, not specifically that look like this, but other crocheted blankets, scarves, other items such as that, and she gives them all away. She only has a couple blankets that she's ever made that she has actually kept. She gives them as wedding gifts, birthdays, Christmas, baby gifts, and she happily makes them and gives them away. And she makes them for a specific cause. She doesn't just make a blanket and then decide who to give it to. She decides who she is going to give it to and then specifically makes the blanket for them. She also makes a lot of scarves, and she puts them in shoe boxes to ship across the country to people who are in need of them, who cannot afford to buy any of that stuff. She makes a blanket every year for her church's auction so they can raise money. It's just a very inspiring story, and my grandmother's generosity is what drives my family today. And that's just what this blanket represents. It's more than just a blanket. It represents her love and her talent that she was blessed with, her resources, time, anything you can think of. She put it all into this blanket, and that's what it represents. In the future, I will probably give this blanket to my daughter. And if I don't have a daughter, then a niece. And if there are no girls in the family, then I will give it to a boy and explain the significance behind the blanket, and that it's more than just a blanket. Thank you.